Gonna have a look at Zay Flowers now. It feels like this is the guy that's starting to get the momentum behind him. We've talked about PFF have got him as their wide receiver 2 in the class. I've seen some reports today that he's guaranteed to be a first-round pick in April's NFL draft. 3-star recruit out of high school, 5'10", 177 pounds, was a senior at Boston College. Kevin, do you think that he's got that elite upside that people seem to believe?
This one's hard for me, man, because I love Zay. Like, Zay was my guy going into like 3 years ago. I was like the only one talking about Zay. I was like, dude, this guy's really good. And I put him in a lot of better profiles. And now the hype's getting a little bit where I'm like, man, it's getting a little bit out of control. But we have seen kind of these first round guys go where we're like, oh, wow, he got first round draft capital. And I think Zay could be there. When you look at him overall, like, he has good sudden. He's very sudden after the catch ability. Like, he has that pretty well. Like, he gets it in space, and you'll see that if you're watching the YouTube. Like, he gets that, does that very well. Plays the ball well downfield too. Like, when you watch him throw deep and get those things, like, those are things you like to be. Has the ability to work inside and out as well. So, like, I think he's versatile in that mindset. Like, he can do that. And he produced 1,000 yards, ACC receiver of the year. Good 50-50 ability, kind of gets it up there, and he has that. He's strong for his size. But I think that, to me, the biggest question mark, and we're going to find this out at the combine, is what's his 40? How fast is he? Like, where is that going to be in terms of that speed? Because that's going to, his 40, I feel like, is going to be that one thing that we determines whether or not he's going to be kind of a first round pick or not. And whether you think the 40 matters, I know some people don't, but the NFL seems to care about it, especially at the combine and for like that draft capital stuff. So that's where I'm looking at, is like, all right, what is his 40 going to be? Because I think his ideal fit is like in the West Coast system. Like, Boston College tend to kind of run that a little bit, that play action, the timing, those type of thing, and yak opportunities. If he finds himself in a system where you're like, he has to create for himself in terms of deep and vertical scheme, like, that's where I'd be concerned.
Yeah, I think for me, he's good. He's just good across the boards. I don't see many holes. You said he lines up inside, lines up outside. The route running's nice. He's got that change of tempo, the subtle body fakes to kind of throw defenders off balance. Yeah. He's got good hands. He's good after the catch. He just, I don't know what is great. And I think that that's my kind of concern, is that I think if you're looking for holes, I don't think he has any. But if you're looking for that one thing that kind of you can hang your hat on and say, he's going to be elite at the next level, at the moment, I don't see it. And I think he's very unlikely to disappoint in terms of what he's going to do at the next level. But I just don't know if he's ever going to be that kind of go-to playmaker on an offense. I don't know if he's ever going to be more than probably a number 2 option at the next level.
And that's the issue, right? And that's the issue with like the value where he's at. Like, he's going right in those running backs that you want to probably grab late first or early second. And so you really got to make sure you want to hit on that, right? That profile. We comped him to Darnell Mooney, which I think has a similar trajectory in terms of fantasy output. Now, Darnell's been struggling because of the offense that he's been in, and he kind of had that quarterback play, and then Fields kind of stepped up a little bit this year, but we didn't see him take that leap yet. Like, I could see him being like that as a fantasy asset. And that's the question, is like, you have to be very comfortable with who's on that board right there and where do you think he's at? Because I think that of those guys in that space, he's more of that dependent, like, all right, scheme dependent. Where does he go? How are they going to use him? Can he be that second guy in an offense or a third guy that can actually produce and do those things? So yeah, you're right. Like, there's nothing that, like, he's just very solid. There's nothing that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he does this. He doesn't have that top end speed. He's not Tyreek Hill. He's not doing these things. And then at the other end, there's nothing that he does really too bad. I think he's there, and he's an older prospect too. So if you take that into account, 4-year kid, obviously, and whether or not you look at that in terms of breakout, those type of things, like, that's something also to know.